Homeowners, listen closely. There are real estate scams out there that will cost you your home, your equity, or worse, your peace of mind. I've been in real estate a long time. I've seen smart, hardworking homeowners just fall victim to con artists who just look like professionals, but they're anything but that. Now, this video was sparked by one of you YouTubers. You've asked me to do a video about it, so here it is. And the worst part of all this, you just don't even know what happened to you, and you don't know you've been scammed until it's too late. So I did some research. I know a lot of scams, but I looked up, I think these are the best, the top biggest real estate scams that I've been exposed to and I've heard about that sellers need to be on high alert for, whether you're listing in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, that's where I'm licensed at, or anywhere in the country where I help my YouTube fans find realtors anywhere in the country. Wherever you're at, they're scamming you. Let's get to it. Real estate scam number one. Somebody calls you and says, we'll buy your house for cash. Or you may have seen signs or stapled to your telephone poles or maybe stuck in your mailbox, we buy homes for cash, any condition will close fast. Or maybe you saw it on TV. So many clients of mine, I go to their house and they've been presented with that. They show me the card. What do you think about this, Diane? I'm like, oh, doesn't it sound great? I'm like, no. They say, well, no showings, no cleaning up, no agents. We won't have to pay any compensation. So then where's the scam, you might say? Well, the buyers, what they do is they offer a really, really low price, way below the market value, claiming that they're helping you avoid fees, but they're pocketing tens of thousands of dollars that you should have kept. What they do, they prey on people who are in distress, maybe going through divorce, that's public knowledge, right? Dealing with a probate sale, public knowledge, or overwhelmed with repairs. They can see maybe the outside of your house, maybe it's getting worn down. And so what they do is they get an appointment with you. They tell you, listen, I'll just come over for a few minutes and I'll go look at the house and I'll tell you what I can offer you. They come and then they say they're going to be calling you back, and then they call you back like a few weeks later or maybe a week later and they say, here's my number. And it's always a really low number. It may sound good, but it's a low number. But you might be sitting there saying, oh, it's just so much easier. And they want to talk you into sign a really lengthy contract. We have to read the contract because in the agreement states that they have the right to lower the price, because they do say in there, fine print, that they're going to do an inspection and that you have to agree to any of the repairs that is said to be done in the inspections. So what happened to as is? So you need to read the agreement, okay? And then you're already packed and then you're like, what's going on? A story I had a couple in Montgomery County. They lived over in Telford and they inherited their parents' home. And it needed updates, yes, but it wasn't that bad and it just looked bad. But they had a cash investor come over, offered them $180,000. They almost accepted it. And then a friend said, hey, convince them to call me for a second opinion. They called me in and I was like, no way, we can paint this, change out some light fixtures, do this. I'm gonna Diane-ize your home. And I talk about that in my book, Model Home Mindset. And I think we spent like $8,000. I sold the house for $270,000 net, that's after commissions. That's almost $90,000 loss if they hadn't, hit the brakes. So yes, cash offers are great, they're real, but you might not want to fall for it, or people who are trying to prey on you just for your panic. Just get the value of your home. Find someone who is going to work for you, give you some low-cost fix-ups, because these people have to buy your house and they have to flip your house and they need to make money. So it needs to be a really low number. Now, I've had homes that I said, you know what, guys, the investor price is the best price. It does happen, but really watch out for it, because most of the time, it's a scam. Okay, scam number two. I call it the fake investor offers that never close. I think it's a sneaky one, where an investor kind of gives you a full price or maybe above market cash offer, like no inspections, no contingencies, and you're absolutely thrilled. But they really never intend to buy the house themselves. What they're doing, they're trying to tie up your property under contract so they can resell the contract to someone else. Then you're off the market, you're losing time, and when they fail to find a buyer, they just back out, or they try to renegotiate the price or something last minute. How do I know this? I had a client in New Jersey I was selling a house for. They thought they hit the jackpot. But I got full price cash, closed in 10 days, didn't use realtors. I'm like, great. And what happened, the investor kept asking for extensions. Just one more extension. They're waiting on funds, and then they kept getting too many extensions. That's when they called me. Turns out he was trying to flip the contract to someone else, and when it didn't work, they lost 6 weeks of prime market time, and we had to relist the house at a lower price. The market wasn't there anymore. So the key here is always require real earnest money, I'd say 2% minimum, down, and always use your own title company. If you're not using a realtor, find a title company, use your own, not a title company that they shove on you. And this stuff I'm talking about, these scams are real. That's why you need a real deal agent to handle your most valuable assets. And that's what I do for hundreds of sellers all over the United States. I find them that real deal agent. And to avoid all these scams, you need to start earlier than you think, 6 months to a year in advance. This is your largest assets. Let's keep going here. Let's keep talking about these scams. Scam number 3, I call it bogus liens or clouded title. Just when you're ready to close, your title company calls, ring, ring, there's a lien on your property. You owe $12,000 to XYZ, whatever. What? You never heard of this company. It's called title fraud or manufactured lien scams, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it's legitimate. You have that debt, but maybe you didn't even know about it, maybe you forgot. But most of the time it's completely fake, and the lien holder is hoping you just pay it off to avoid delays. A story for you, one of my clients whose ex-business partner filed a bogus lien from a dissolved LLC on their personal residence right before they were going to close. It wasn't even valid, but it took legal intervention, money, and 2 weeks to resolve it, and a lot of stress. So key here, what do? You always get a title search done before you list your house. We do that on most all of our listings. Don't wait until closing. Catch the landmines early so they don't blow up your sale. You check for liens or things with your name on it. If you have a similar name like Joe Smith, you're gonna have a ton of judgments against that name. And none of them most likely are gonna be you, but it's gonna come up in the title search. You have to go through that whole thing by getting them removed. It's a process. Also, off topic a little bit, is another reason to get that title search is that maybe a mortgage that you had that you paid off 20 years ago, but it never got satisfied correctly, and it's still on your title as a lien. And then that company's out of business, so there's no one to talk to. That'll take about $250 to $1,000 to get that fixed, and several weeks to hire an attorney, and you have to hire an attorney to do that. That's just a little bit off topic. It's not a scam, but it's another reason why you want to get your title run before you start listing your house. And because I work a lot with empty nesters, I get a lot of that. That's why I always do that. I always get that title down. Okay, scam number 4, fake listing agents or impersonators. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of disturbing where scammers copy your listing photos. They create a fake online listing, usually on rental sites or off-market platforms, and they pose as an agent or the owner, collect deposits for rentals from multiple people, and then they disappear. Yes, this happens. Or worse, they show up at your door saying that they already rented the house, like your house. So how do I know about this? I heard about a seller. One of my agent's friends told me about this. It was in Philadelphia. They had their house listed with a legitimate agent, but scammers created a fake Craigslist rental ad using the same photos. 3 people showed up to move in, and one of them had wired a $2,000 deposit. Yeah, it's tough. So what do? Google your address once you list it. See what comes up and continue to do it. Not right away. Sometimes they don't get it, but sometimes they get it a few weeks later. Make sure your agent's name is visible, their license info, brokerage affiliation, and contact links, because scammers thrive in silence. You don't know they're there. And I want you to comment below if you've ever been caught in a real estate scam or know someone who has. And if you're learning anything today, let me know. Put a comment below. All right, number 5. I call this contractor collusion. What is this one? Well, how this works is the buyer brings in their contractor before settlement. Someone they claim is just evaluating possible improvements. Oh, my uncle's, whatever. The contractor does a walkthrough and then reports the house needs like $30,000 in repairs. But surprise, the home inspection already cleared all major issues. What's happening here? Well, the buyer and contractor are in it together, trying to push down your price right before closing. Yes, that's why we have something where the buyer cannot come back into the house until settlement. Once they have their home inspection, they shouldn't have to come back in. So watch out when an agent wants to put in the clause that the buyer can come back 2 times to do measurements or something like that. I don't know. Watch out for that one. A story I have is one of my sellers in Bucks County who agreed to let the buyer's contractor in. The guy claimed the HVAC system was at the end of its life and needs full replacement, and they quoted $12,000. Well, the seller got a second opinion. I helped him get that from one of our guys. And turns out that it was a $180 part. They stood their ground. I made sure of it. I stood their ground. I said, forget it. and we still closed at the full price, but they were trying to get money. The moral of the story is don't allow unknown contractors unsupervised access. Require written estimates from licensed professionals and double check major claims with your own trusted vendors. Don't take what they say for granted. Scam number 6, deed fraud. That's a big one, and it's a nightmare. Someone, say for example, forges your name, files a fake deed and claims to own your property. It happens most often with vacant homes. Elderly owners, rental properties, they use your property for collateral, rent it out, or try to sell it before you even know it. Oh my God, I heard of a woman who owned a vacant home in Philadelphia. She hadn't checked on it for months. Someone filed a fake deed and sold the house. Yeah, by the time she found out, there were people living there and she had to hire an attorney to fight for her own property back. What do? Sign up for deed alert services if your county offers them. Most of them do. Check your county's public records once or twice a year, especially if your home is vacant. Try not to have your home left vacant. Have people check on it for you. Really important. Scam number 7, wire transfer fraud. This one's kind of exploding. It just happens usually right before closing, where you get an email from a supposed title company with these updated wire instructions. But if your email's hacked, it wasn't the right title company. You give your wiring instructions to the wrong title company, and you realize that then the scammer gets the money because it's their account, that they somehow collude with your email, and the email goes to the title company, but they get the email that says their wire instruction. They actually send them their wire instructions, and they think they're sending it to you, and then your money is not in your account after settlement. So I have sellers who almost fell for this, and I tell people to really watch the emails. Don't talk to anybody but us. Make sure it comes through us. They got this email, it looked like the title company's email, but one letter was off in the email address. They were asked to get their wiring instruction, and they said, well, this doesn't look like the right title company. Something's wrong here. And basically it was the scammer. So you never want to give your wiring instructions to anyone. Just give it to your realtor and let them handle it for you. When we do our settlements, we do the deed package ahead of time. We make sure that the wire instructions do not go in an email. Always over the phone or written down on paper and then scanned and sent to the title company. Really important. And number 8, I call this unlicensed assistance, or you can call it flat fee listing scams. They're around. And you might be tempted by this. They say, hey, you list your house, don't waste money on a full service agent. I'm going to help you for a flat fee. Well, this is why you really need my help in vetting top agents in your area if you're going to sell your home. Because when I vet an agent, I don't just give your number to anyone. I grill that agent so they tell me things that they would never tell you, right? They tell me things. These people, these unlicensed people, they offer to stage price and do photography, even write up a contract. But they're not even licensed or insured. And if something goes wrong, you're on the hook. The seller I talked to I think they paid somebody like $1,000 to a listing assistant to help them with pricing, staging, and negotiating offers. The guy recommended an unrealistic price. They sat on the market for 60 days and then he ghosted when they got a low appraisal. He just was gone. No license, no recourse. The seller ended up hiring a full service agent, myself, and after losing time and momentum, it was tough. So advice here, if someone's giving you advice on pricing, negotiating, or contract, they better be licensed. Protect your equity. Let me hire the person for you, or make sure you go down below, get my questions to ask a realtor for hiring them, and use those. Before you even bring somebody in your door, ask these questions, or let me ask them for you. It doesn't cost you anything. What's the solution here with all these scams? Good news, every single one of these scams could be prevented if you knew what to look for and you work with the right professionals. All of my strategies in my Home Selling Sharks book that we use to sell homes fast for more money than your neighbor would sell for. And they're always protected from every single one of these scams because we start early. So we start early because it's time to verify everything, spot red flags on the title, all those things. We use expert photography, get photos taken the season before, that when your house looks the best on this outside, do great compelling marketing, and we're not competing with fake listings. And we have proper pricing strategies, so we can't be fooled by lowball scam offers. And then we work with vetted professionals like inspectors and lenders and title company, all who had fraud protection protocols, all the people I have protocols. Make sure you use secure communication, verify wire instructions, proper documentation, all that stuff. The non-negotiable protecting strategies for wire transfers. I want to go through these, write them down. Never trust wire instructions sent via email alone. Always call using a verified phone number you already have. Stay on the phone during the transfer if you're transferring, or if you're not transferring, then just make sure you have giving your wire instructions to the right person. And if anything changes, stop and verify in person. And for agents, make sure you verify their license with the state's real estate commission. Ask about their fraud protection protocols. Get everything in writing. If they pressure you to act fast, walk away. If you have an offer, realize that A, legitimate buyers work with licensed agents, and cash offers should come with proof of funds. And next, never wire money to secure a deal. And last, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So now that you know the top 8 scams, in my mind, there are lots more that target home sellers. Here's the takeaway. The right professional doesn't just sell your house, they protect you. I've helped hundreds of sellers navigate these waters, and my mission is to make sure you never fall in a trap and cost you thousands. That's why you want me to help you hire your agent, because my agents that I hire for you will go through the Home Selling Sharks process. You can get my book. Anybody who registers and signs up for a room by room with me will get a copy of the book. Just go to realdealagent.com and we'll give you copies of both books. I'm working on my 3rd book right now. But most importantly, avoid the scams, protect yourself. So here's what you can do next, guys. I said talk to you about scheduling a room by room. If you're in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I'll come to your house. Or you can give me a call at my office, 215-576-8666. No pressure strategy call. And if you're out of the area, go to realdealagent.com. Like I said, I'll help you find the right realtor who's going to actually knows how to protect your money. I'm going to use my strategies in my Home Selling Sharks book and my Model Home Mindset book. I love these books. They're really great. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe. This is the real deal in real estate. Now, your home is likely your biggest asset, right? So treat it like that. And I need you to start earlier than you think. Ask tough questions. Double check credentials, Never let anyone rush your financial decisions. Stay sharp, stay informed. Keep your equity where it belongs in your pocket. And speaking of that, next up is this great video that will definitely help you protect your sale and help you boost your profit. I want you to watch this one. Most sellers lose $50,000 believing these 10 myths to uncover the most common and costly mistakes sellers make and how to avoid them. It's a good one. These two go hand in hand. One keeps you safe and the other gets you paid. Both really good.